We've reached the phase of the destruction of American democracy where they're just open op-eds implying that we should like the fascist militias. This time, the Proud Boys. Sarasota, Florida's Herald-Tribune published an op-ed praising the Proud Boys, written by a woman who describes herself as a God-fearing Christ follower, a mother of 2 beautiful children, a patriot, and a wife of a man who defends his family and their freedoms. And in fact, you can see a screenshot of that op-ed here. Attacking Proud Boys does a disservice to caring school parents. What both the paper and that woman declined to say is that when she's a wife of a man who defends his family, what she meant but didn't say is she's the wife of a Proud Boy. Jesus. She was doing an op-ed defending the Proud Boys without saying that she is literally the wife of a Proud Boy. Anyway, that article has been taken down, by the way. If you try to go to it right now, there's no retraction, there's no explanation, at least as of when we're filming, it's down. But thanks to the power of screenshots, it ain't gone. So we know in it, it said, when I think about the Proud Boys, I think of fathers, business owners, and veterans. These fathers have spoken at many school board meetings. They are concerned about the direction that their local schools are headed in, and I commend them for coming to school board meetings. I can imagine that at one point in history, someone said, when I think about the Nazis, I think of fathers, brothers, guys who go to bakeries. These fathers are very worried about international Judaism. And I think that they've spoken at a lot of meetings and it's probably a good thing. Yes, there's always gonna be people who are enthusiastically a part of this. There are always gonna be women who believe, oh, surely they won't take my rights if I only go along with it. Yes, there's always gonna be some people like this, Francesca, but the fact that it's not just that they had the op-ed defending the Proud Boys with no added context, no acknowledgement of their crimes, which we'll get into, but to not identify the obvious bias here is insane.
Yeah, my favorite part is for the podcast listeners, when you go back to the article, it just says, oh snap, this has been removed. They say, oh snap, which again, is an appropriation of slang that I think is very funny and like, I guess it's better than like file 404, but like just, oh snap, dude, we like didn't do our due diligence, even though we're like technically a newspaper. So like we didn't know that she was probably the wife of a Proud Boy. And like, by the way, we didn't even like Wikipedia Proud Boys, and we didn't even look at them on like the Southern Poverty Law Center. Like we have the memory of gnats. So sorry. If you want to submit an op-ed saying all the same things as Proud Boys, but not actually defending Proud Boys, go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and by the way, like that's I'm sure if they come out and talk about why they did this, what they're gonna say is that they had published back in late June a guest column saying that the people in the school board should call out the Proud Boys. So this was critical of the Proud Boys. They published that in late June. So then in July, they have a Proud Boys trad wife talking about how awesome they are. No, but like, do you get that that's not good? Like, should we have violent militias? Well, yes and no. We've presented both sides. That's maybe bad for a democracy that we're at that point where we're still accepting this. The Proud Boys have, which media, Sarah Rumpf on Media, thankfully summed up for us, a documented history of criminal activities and violent altercations that dates back several years. Along with the Oath Keepers, multiple members of the group have been charged with serious felonies related to the January 6th attack. They were part of the insurrection. An FBI informant testified to the House Select Committee that Proud Boys had plans that included occupying various federal buildings and assassinating Vice President Mike Pence during the attack. Members of Proud Boys have caused turmoil in various Republican circles across Florida, including contentious squabbles over leadership of local party organizations and even physical brawls. And it isn't just that the Proud Boys have a documented history of violent altercations, being anti-democratic. That's the only thing they have. That's all they are. It's not like, they're a civic organization that occasionally goes too far. They're there to do this one thing that we're identifying. And we're supposed to forget that. We're supposed to think that Patriot Fund and Proud Boys and all of that, they're just exuberant patriots. No, they're waiting for the order to start gunning people down. That's the only reason they exist.
Yes.
We need to take it seriously. I would argue, more importantly, maybe these newspapers should take it a little bit seriously, because they're aiding and abetting a PR effort to cloak neo-fascist like organizations like this, what they're there for, what they're doing. They're bringing guns to drag queen story hours, like, but along the way they're getting this free publicity, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, they're neo-Nazis, and they're openly such, right? They believe in things like, Western chauvinism and crap like that. And when you say that, would his wife mind giving up her rights? Yeah, she's fine with that, actually, because that's part of it, because that's how the white race prevails, is if we subjugate everyone who isn't a straight white cis man. Yep. So this, and it's been known, right? And yet, mainstream news has been doing and running this cover for a long time. The Unite the Right rally in 2017 was a moment where I think they all kind of, a little bit of a come to Jesus moment for news outlets who had been like putting Richard Spencer on, in like deep long op-eds, right, and such. But it feels like they're backsliding, and I talked about this on the Twitchuation Room a little bit, Twitch stream on Wednesdays. But the way that they're also profiling anti-choice militant activists who actually are well funded by dark money entities, as if they're just like wholesome, people who finally got their wish on Roe v. Wade. No, that's crap. You're also carrying water for these, and again, talk to the people who work on reproductive rights. The Proud Boy bone is connected to the anti-choice bone, is connected to the Storm the Capitol bone. Like this is a web of far right fascist organizations. So when we throw around that word, know that we mean it. They don't throw it around lightly. They don't talk about the white race lightly. They mean it.
They do talk about it constantly, though.
Yeah,
they do that. Yeah, and what you're talking about the devil's bargain that the wives make in this case. Like we are not talking about this. I'm not going into 5 minutes of this because we gotta get these topics. But J.K. Rowling, like lauding like a literal fascist because he hates trans people as much as she does. Like J.K. Rowling, as far as I know, is pro-choice. She's lauding people who want to strip away those rights.
No,
because it's the turf thing is an inroads to giving up on literally everything else. Like you become so single-minded that that's the only thing that you can focus on.